What up, guys? I'm Kyler Wilson.
I'm Monica Cassert.
And by God, this is the before, the after, and
the after.
Yeah. If in case none of you have figured this out, this is a before and after segment followed by an after segment. Here we go. Okay, we're running late. Monica's dyslexic, and I got off work late.
Well, if folks
got off work early, I know. Okay, so we are gonna go see the Gallows, new found footage movie just released today. I haven't looked up any reviews. They did a premiere, I think, yesterday or the day before, maybe.
One of those days.
And I haven't seen any reviews on it. A friend of mine, Miss Pfeiffer Brown, I'll say she's a friend because she's a sweetheart, that worked on My Many Sons, is in this movie. So she originally is the one who brought the preview to our attention, if you remember. And
that is true.
So yeah, so it should be pretty cool. The directors specifically reached out to us on Twitter after watching our review and said that they were confident that we would enjoy the film. So
here we go.
There you go.
Here we go.
So going into this, I'll say my piece and then you can kind of say yours. Like, going into it, it's a found footage movie. We already kind of know I'm not the biggest fan. I did like Unfriended, but that was found footage in a slightly different way. So I'm not really sure what to expect here. I mean, it seems to me like it's just a found footage movie, but they got a kind of an iconic killer in it, you know? What do you think?
I don't know much about this movie now that I think about it. I guess so.
Well, you remember the preview, right?
I remember the preview, but I don't remember it well. I guess I remember a school play.
Right, and you remember the original preview was the one where she was just crying, looking at the camera.
Who was the iconic killer you were talking about?
They've created one.
Oh.
Yeah, they're like that's part of the gimmick of the or not gimmick, but it's part of their marketing is saying Jason had his machete, Freddy had his knives, Charlie has his robe,
Chucky has his dollhouse. I did not see that. No, that's kind of odd. That's putting some big names up there. Yeah, they're clouding it.
And of course, like there's a rumor that they did a whole cross promotion thing with that Charlie, don't say his name, and that because that's the name of the killer in this, or I don't know, the name of the ghost or whatever.
Gnarly Charlie.
But the directors have said no. We have nothing to do with that. It was not us. It was lucky that came up, you know, right around the same time that this is happening, but no, it wasn't us. So that was interesting. But that's all I know, really. That's really all I know about it. The directors told us specifically that we would enjoy it. So we're just gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see if they're right or wrong, and we will give an honest review. I guarantee you that.
Super honest. I think I'm gonna go ahead and buy the tickets.
All right, copy that. All right, guys, that's our before. We'll catch you in the after. Peace out.
See you, love you back.
Monica's forgotten her password.
I did not forget my password. Fandango being stupid. It's the same password. Look, that's why something's wrong with it. Not my fault. Told you it wasn't me. I have the same password for everything.
Hashtag mad at it.
I'm very mad at it.
How mad at it?
Very. I love how I keep looking at myself in your screen. Super mad about it.
Super mad.
Super.
It's so busy for no reason. It's Thursday night here, people. Having to run because we're gonna miss the previews. Don't want to miss the previews. Come on. Okay, we're out. You go.
There's music here tonight. It's Janine. Hi, Janine.
Hey, hon, we see some
Happy
friends.
fast-
Okay,
Anyway,
so, what you
the
think?
music is over. Ooh, they got me a couple times. let's leave it at that. They got me a couple of times, and for that I commend you.
Yeah.
I kind of called it a little bit.
Don't give it away.
I'm not. They did a really good job with the scares, I think, compared to a lot of others. Ultimately, I guess it's just we have a new addition to the Halloween collection now for this year, so that's one.
On the scares, I definitely still feel like they use too many jump scares. I understand that
they had a lot of pauses before things were to happen, and it was kind of interesting.
There's one thing that I think was really cool that I don't recall seeing before, and you know, you might remember something I'm not, but how they would switch between the cameras. I think, but they would take a step back. It was like going back onto rewind, you know?
Yeah, and I think I guess for me, I thought it was more of a supernatural thing. I think it was just I think it's supposed to add to the allure, I guess.
Well, I thought it was pretty cool because
these cop cars. Every cop is at the movie.
I thought it was pretty cool because you could, like, you were getting to see things from a different perspective. You know what I mean?
All right.
Getting in a car. Hang on. So to continue, without giving the ending away, I've got to say I'm not really feeling it. It was too, for me, it was just too left field, I think. Again, without giving it away, it's really hard to even talk about, but
I mean, I guess it's a nice little, you know, I guess it was time to take it back to school, you know, and what's the biggest, you know, cliche of all life? Theater kids and jocks. So it seems like it's always going to be there, and I mean, I think they did a good job, up-to-date job of showing teenagers in general now. I mean, it's what they do, and they just added the whole, yeah, the scaries on it in theater class. I can't think of another theater-esque horror movie, unless you want to count Phantom of the Opera. Get out of my head.
or Phantom of the Auditorium. That was another one. Disney. Hashtag Disney. I feel like, thinking back on it, like, immediate reactions coming out of the theater are some of the character motivations were a little wonky, and that's a huge thing for me, obviously. Like you know, at the beginning of the film, when the guy that likes Pfeiffer, Reese, my dad's name, decides.
I feel like they said his name too many times.
Carl.
Reese.
But like, he decides to go trash the stage, and I don't know. I don't think I really buy that he would do that. I don't think, even being a stupid teenager, I don't think that that's something he would.
It's peer pressure,
he would do to impress a girl. He was doing it, you know, he was doing it to impress a girl. I guess you can argue he's a teenager. I really enjoyed the way that they cut everything together. My biggest detractor, I think, has got to be the use of jump scares. You know, and I've said it 1,000 billion trillion times. Going from no sound to something jumping out on screen, followed by a loud noise, just isn't that impressive to me. That being said, there were a couple of scares that they were less jump scary, you know, and they were more just like, it was a legitimate creepy image on screen, and it was cut well. So, I mean, that's my thought on the jump scare portion.
Yeah, like I said, I felt like the pauses were too long, but I guess they were trying to do that it was almost like the prep jump scare.
Yeah, but you're always looking for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you know that it's coming. You're just like, okay, where's the jump scare?
I mean, there's a couple times it got little slips in there, you know, and
I mean, I jumped legitimately twice.
yeah, I got the wheelies a couple of times,
yeah.
But I feel like I wanted to see more of something, but I don't know what.
Well, it was only a cast of 4 people, you know. I mean, I think there could have been some cool stuff with a slightly larger cast, maybe a 5th wheel or something. I do have to say, another detractor. I think it was the intro was so long. That opening, that setup, it was just like we're following this douchebag around, and by the time it starts, you're just like, kill that dude off. He's a prick, you know. And so I thought that was long. I think they could have cut 7 to 10 minutes off of that opening. It was just so long. Like, I'm just like, okay, man, I get it. You're a dick. Like, you don't need to drive the point home 100,000 times. You know. You know,
I noticed they kind of do that a lot with found footage. There's always that big intro of, ooh, me with my camera.
Yeah.
Ooh, forever. Yeah, I feel like it would have been a nice short.
You're totally right, though. Like, I don't think that they needed to show us the second time what happened. You know what I mean?
But I guess it
did further the story, yeah, because of
which is hilarious that, okay, so obviously, I'm guessing that they're, I don't know what age group they are.
I mean, I'm going to assume they're seniors.
But this boy, obviously, this picture has been hanging up in this school for how many years? And he just now looked and realized
didn't realize it was his dad. His dad's never mentioned a word about it.
What? What have you been looking at all these years? Yeah. I mean, I know me going back to school, or when I was in school, like, half the time we spent our time just looking at everybody, making fun of everybody, looking at everything. Yep. You take a big gander at it, at least like every year you go back to school. Totally. So it's really interesting, and I feel like for the story that it was, the story behind it, I feel like that he should have known already.
Yeah, I can totally see that. You know, all that said, I do think that this is a better than average found footage film.
Yeah, it did a good job of giving me the willies a couple of times, even though I wasn't expecting, you know, a massive like in my face. You know, a couple of times I did was like like I almost thought I was gonna not look at the screen because I didn't know what was gonna happen. So I was kind of like not looking in other directions, so I wouldn't, you know, come to terms with what it was. Right. But you know,
I enjoyed. So it's come to my attention that some of you think I've been drinking beer while doing these.
Are you serious?
That is not the case. This is La Croix, baby. Okay, so we're not gonna have to sit on this one a day. We're both pretty firm in our opinions, so we're just gonna go ahead and just get it out there. So to tell you about our movie theater experience this time, first off, I was running late. Not really I was running late, but I got cut from work late, which made me late to the house. And then Monica got dyslexic and read 7:10 and 9 o'clock instead of 7 o'clock and 9:10. So we lost 10 minutes there.
Time won't give me time.
So then we didn't get we wanted to do the previews as always, but we didn't get to do the previews. You want to tell them why?
Because this fool tells me, I'll drop you off, and you go in and catch the previews, and I'll get the popcorn. So I get in the theater.
But okay, look. I'm just gonna go ahead and let her.
Don't try to make it.
No. Yeah. I'm gonna let you know. I figured out where the actual miscommunication happened. All right, the miscommunication happened, and I dropped you off. And originally, I wasn't going to drop you off. I was gonna go park. You and I were gonna go park, and then we were gonna walk up. Then while you got the tickets, I was going to go hop in the line. Then you would have dropped me off the ticket and then went into the theater. And then I would have been in the line for the popcorn and everything. But the problem is I dropped her off. Then I went and parked. So then when I came in, you'd already bought the ticket. And then you were in there. And I was like, oh crap, well I don't have a ticket. How am I supposed to get in without a ticket? And then I was like, she never answers her damn phone. So
I was waiting on, because I understood for me to go in, watch previews, I was going to get a call, I was going to run out there, get you in, let's go. But no, he calls me as soon as he gets in the theater, and I'm like, what? So I have to miss the previews to go take him his ticket, but guess what? He's not ready to come in the theater. He's still in the popcorn line. So I'm like, okay. And I waited about 10 minutes with the little movie guy.
We were behind the two, I was behind the two slowest freaking women imaginable.
So while waiting with the movie guy for like 10 minutes, I'm like, I'm missing all the previews. All of them. Because I'm thinking Kyler's going to come around the corner any second.
So
I take it upon myself to go around the corner, and he's still in the line. So I'm ready. Aggro meter is at 100%. So I go wait next to him, and we both just have this.
My aggro meter was over 9,000.
It's over 9,000! What, 9,000? There's no way that can be right!
Kakarot.
Anyways, no previews, guys. So sorry.
I saw like one.
I saw one at the end, but it wasn't there just wasn't even a point. So yeah, I mean, you guys know I'm not gonna like that movie. So Vacation
so
was the one preview I got.
I'm pretty sure that all the previews that show this time will show for Ant-Man.
Maybe so.
Hopefully.
So that long story short, you guys don't get your previews this week. Moving right along. Alright, so if you watched our before and after portion, you know that we enjoyed it, but I mean, there are some problems, and we want to talk about the things that the movie did well and the things that the movie didn't do so well. So to jump right into it, let's talk about the opening. The opening was in the preview, by the way. It was just cut really fast, so you didn't really know that it was in the preview. So I will go ahead and say this is, I don't know, it's sort of spoiler. I mean, it's not spoiler, like, but it's giving away one of the scares. So you might go to our next portion, which is the cast, if you care. But we're moving along. So the opening is watching these kids do a stage play back in 1993. It's all square. Square format, 4:3 aspect ratio, and it's just these kids performing the play. And then what happens?
He gets hung.
like
I was trying to
like Peter North.
I was trying to think of how to explain the death, but basically he gets hung, pre-hung before his actual hanging.
Yeah, I mean it's basically.
So that made. Why did he get pre-hung?
It was supposed to be a malfunction or whatever. So basically they're going through the scene in the play, and as they're announcing what's about to happen to the guy, he's about to get hung, hanged by the neck as they once called it. The trap door just lets go and he falls and he breaks his neck and dies.
And everybody kind of like sits there for a second
because they think it's part of the play.
At least the audience would think it was part of the play. I would think the actors would realize that. That's early.
Clearly.
Because it cut his line and everything.
Yeah, it did. That being said, though, it happened so out of the blue, it did startle me.
It did catch me off guard.
I mean, I knew that something
I was waiting for it to happen at the right time.
Right. I thought, exactly. No, I think that's the best way to put it. I knew that, announcement that he's going to be hung by the neck, blah, 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 blah. Hang him, and then they let go, and boom, and oh crap, it messed up. But instead, it just happened so abruptly, totally threw me off guard, and I was like, oh.
One thing that annoys me, I feel like nowadays with how people film things all day, I feel like it would be a little bit, it was just weird seeing, like, why is it that it was like fine, it was on it the entire time, and then when everybody's like trying to get up there to him, it's like the camera's all over the place, but the person keeps coming back to here, and I'm just like, just leave it on there.
Or do what I think a real like compassionate person would do. Put the fucking camera down.
But then don't put it back up.
Right. She's right. They just keep doing like it goes down and it's like oh, and then up, and I'm looking at it again, and it's a little annoying. But that being said, I really did enjoy the opening. I think it was a good opening.
It's a nice ghost story,
and it set the tone. I think
it did.
It set the tone well. You didn't know exactly what you're getting yourself into with the rest of the film, but it set that creepy like ugh, I kind of feel like I just watched something I shouldn't have. I think. So I give that as a plus in the plus column for this movie. The cast. Moving along to the cast. So there are 4 main cast members. There are a bunch of extras, or well, not extras, but there's a lot of featured talent as well that have lines and everything. It seemed to me like probably most of those people too were like crew, probably.
It's like what typical school people setting.
And I just feel like there was this one girl specifically. I was like, I bet she's a PA on the set. And
well, you're able to pick that out better than me.
Yeah, well, what are my skills useful for?
Wow.
So the main 4 cast members, though, one of which being the lovely Miss Pfeiffer Brown. I think all in all they did a pretty good job. I think maybe the douchebag was a little too much of a douchebag, but I'm not sure if that would be the douchebag's fault. I'm sure you're not a douchebag, sir. Or if it'd be the direction. I feel like it was probably the way that he was written, though. He was written to be just like an overly douchebag guy.
And there are a lot of those.
There are.
So I'm pretty sure a lot of people could, it's funny, they keep writing the douchebag roles based off of douchebags, and you know that douchebag people are actually watching it, but does it teach them anything?
The douchebags are sitting there going, man, that guy's such a douchebag.
Yeah. But yeah, I think they did good for
everything that they had to work with.
Yeah.
I think that maybe they might have been, if I'm really nitpicking, I'm saying they might have been cast a little too old. They looked more like, sophomores in college rather than seniors or juniors in high school.
Yeah, maybe we missed, what grade they were in, but maybe they were just trying to make them like a roundabout, so you really didn't have to be like, they're in 10th grade. No, they're not.
Well, and something too, I watch a channel that I'll guess I'll plug, not that they needed my help, but Machinima ETC, we both watch a lot of their shows, and they actually had these directors on for an Ask Me Anything, and one of the things that they talked about was they actually shot this over the course of 4 years. Right. Yeah, so what happened is they shot everything over like a year or something like that. Mm-hmm. I'm probably butchering this story, but they shot everything over a year, and then they had a good, decent, solid product to deliver, and then they started raising the eyebrows of studios. Well, I think it was Blumhouse was the one that finally picked them up. It was like, hey, if you want to take this and go do festivals and that kind of stuff, you'll kill it. But if you want to take this to the theater now, we go back and we do reshoots. And so they went in, and they went in with nicer cameras, and they went in with the same cast. Other than, this is another story. Sorry, we're going off book here. They had to recast, I believe it was the blonde girl, because the original one that they had cast lost 40 pounds from the time that they filmed to the time that they went back to do reshoots, and so she looked nothing alike. So they actually recast that poor girl. So she did all this work, and she got cut out of the film because she got in shape.
That's Hollywood for you,
right? Doesn't that suck? She went and did something good for herself, and she ended up getting cut. I mean, clearly it was just a serious, unfortunate, circumstance. Kind of like Charlie getting hanged.
I'll take my body elsewhere.
Good.
Get off that beer, bro.
So anyways, I think the cast did pretty damn good, man. All things considered, I've seen found footage movies with way worse casts. In fact, any of the Paranormal Activities would be on my list. I called you out. Moving along, let's talk about the found footage. So there are things that they did well, and there are things that they didn't do so well, to me. And I would like your opinion on that. So some of the things that I think that they did really well was, or at least were really interesting, was flipping from, you know, let's say these are 2 cameras, and this camera's with Monica over here, and this camera's with me over here, and she went off that way and I went off this way. Well, as they show us what happened here, but then you can hear like stuff going on over here, you know, people screaming or whatever, and they'll cut not at the same time. They'll let this scene finish out, and then they'll cut to over here, and they'll show you all the stuff that was going on over here that you were hearing while this stuff was going on as well. I don't know if I'm making any sense whatsoever, but I feel like I am. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I like that. I like that it wasn't chopped in between like some movies do.
Yeah, and that's what I guess is what I'm saying. They didn't act like all cameras were rolling at once.
Right, because that gets really annoying. Because it's like, can we really? Ugh.
Well, you know what I always wonder whenever they do that? I'm like, who the fuck edited this together? Like, ooh, you know what? Gotta say something that I did dislike that's not on this list. The very opening of the film, the very, very, very opening, it said, property of blah county sheriff's department, blah, blah, blah. All right, here's the reason I dislike that.
That was weird.
It
didn't follow like the structure would.
They tried to do basically like what a Blair Witch did, right?
Mm-hmm.
They tried like, well, with Blair Witch, they pitched Blair Witch as like, this is real. Mm-hmm. This is footage that was found. You know what I mean? With this movie, they weren't pitching this as real. We know it's fake, and them putting that at the beginning, it's more of a distraction to me because it's just bringing attention to the fact that it's a found footage movie. You know, it doesn't build the illusion anymore. So I would have dropped that whole piece if it were my movie. It wasn't though, and I've never made a movie that got to the theaters. So what do I know?
Dun, dun, dun.
So anyway, sorry. Back to the found footage stuff. You liked it, you said, because it's distracting whenever they cut back and forth.
It didn't bother me. Watching this one, it didn't bother me like a lot of other ones do. I feel like it was pretty clear cut. It was easy to follow. Mm-hmm. Although in the beginning, at first, I kind of got thrown off. There was one part I got thrown off as to who had the camera, because I'm like,
no, I agree. And
I'm like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, there were. It was, well, specifically, it's with the douchebag, right? Where he's going through the school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I thought that Reese had the camera.
Yeah, and then the blonde girl.
And so it got really. Sometimes I don't think that they executed knowing who had the camera well enough. I'm not gonna say that was a huge detractor. It's more of an observation,
it's just a little minor thing.
So anyways, yeah, that's the stuff I like. Now, one thing that was distracting to me specifically, I don't know about anybody else who's seen the film, but it is very clear when they go from like a cell phone footage, right? So they show them carrying phones around and using phones for footage. But then there are shots where clearly the image you are looking at is not from a phone. It's from like a Red or a 5D or an Alexa. I mean, probably not an Alexa. If I had to guess, I'd say it's a Red. In fact, I think I remember them saying that they had brought in a Red for reshoots. And it's very clear. Literally, the image is like way too clear for it to be from a cell phone. You know, cell phones have a certain look, a certain aesthetic to them. Did you notice that at all?
I noticed that there were a lot of clearer shots.
Did it bug you though?
No, what bugs me is when there are clear shots and there are shitty, fuzzy, boo-boo shots. They didn't really have that in this. I'd rather see clear than clear and then
really crappy. I see what you mean. So I mean, then they did better. I mean, I'm sure that most people don't have my back on that one.
Yeah, that's possible, but it sucks because with all this clearness, it's almost like where we need more. Yeah. But there's not more.
By the way, on the cell phone thing, I might be wrong, but I'm gonna call bullshit on having night vision. I don't think
he said it was an app.
I don't think there's an app that can do that, guys.
Wait a minute.
Checking. I don't think that there is. Because night vision is, the way night vision works, I don't think, it's not a software thing, it's a hardware thing.
Night vision camera, bro.
Go ahead.
Woman in the bed. Oh, wait. Ah, where'd it go? So it's supposed to look like this. Unfortunately, night vision has stopped working. Sorry, wait. Maybe I should bleep out the name. We're just gonna say night vision has stopped working.
Let's see.
So apparently it was too much.
I'm gonna try it.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, night vision Pro stopped.
Not working. So I love how when it pops back up, it says, now the rating says, I hate this app. Instead of, I love this app.
Supposedly night vision.
This says thermal.
That's to switch it to thermal.
Oh, that's not night vision. Wait, do you have to take a picture and it's kind of color it like night vision? Because that doesn't count. Run in the bathroom in the dark and see if it works.
Be right back.
Ooh.
So, yeah, I'm going to call bullshit. I don't think there's an app that can actually do that. Not as advertised, at least. This is something that the movie did itself, or that the marketing did. I'm not going to blame this on the filmmakers, because a lot of people don't know this, but the filmmakers don't make the trailers for movies. Trailer houses do. So somebody decided that it'd be a good idea to market this movie as Jason has his machete, Freddy has his knives, Charlie has his rope. So the question is this bad guy, could this bad guy be, could he be another Jason? Could he be a Jason?
No. And I think so because I don't feel like he really proved himself to fit in with the cool kids table.
I agree. I mean, it's fine. He has his rope, and I'm fine with his rope.
There's almost just wasn't enough. Like, ooh, you killed 2 people. Oh wait, 3, 4,
3,
5.
Well, okay.
The cops said
that.
The people. Spoiler, kinda. I just don't think. When then people are gonna debate. Well, Jason killed. Wait, nope. He killed a good amount of people. And
Jason's fine. Jason killed
Michael
plenty.
Myers.
I definitely don't think that this guy is as iconic a role.
I think what differs because this one was centered more. It was like story and then monster, and those ones are monster and then story.
Well, they definitely don't give a shit about story and Jason, or I mean, you could argue maybe a little bit in Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and Michael Myers or Halloween, but this guy, I mean, there's nothing really about him that makes me like I mean, I don't want to just call him a generic bad guy, but it's just a dude in a hood, you know.
A scarecrow mask.
Sometimes he looks digital, and sometimes he looks like he's.
But you almost didn't even see enough of it. They tried to show off the mask in the beginning, but you couldn't really see it. And then a little
bit towards the end.
It just wasn't.
And again, this is not a bash against the people who made it.
No, not at all. No, I just think
it was a weird way to market your movie. I understand that the point is to get butts in the seats, but
that was a very That was a very big pull.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge claim, a huge claim. I definitely don't think this guy is another Jason Voorhees.
And it's not like he can't become, but I feel like the story itself keeps him where he is.
I don't think he could become, because it's a found footage movie. You don't have iconic villains from found footage movies. You know, if turn back time, in other words. And make Friday the 13th a docu horror film, right? A found footage movie. I mean, I guess, well, back then it would have been revolutionary, so it would have done really well. But my point is like reverse the roles and put all of the found footage back when Friday the 13th came out, and everybody was doing you know, that sort of stuff. You put Jason in that kind of a role, he is no longer iconic. Not to me. I might have just birthed a new horror movie that somebody's going to watch this and be like, I'm going to do that. You heard it here first.
People can't hold on to the phone long enough during their deaths. So, unless you do that whole, what was The whole was that the Michael Myers one where they set up the reality show in the house and they were.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was like Michael Myers Resurrection or something like that. That was pretty funny. So, yeah, not iconic. I mean, again, no dig, but not iconic.
Yet,
not to us.
Or
not to me. I mean, I'll let Monica speak.
You can make a mask, but ultimately, it has to be more.
Who's the last iconic horror character anyway? Saw? Like Jigsaw?
Jigsaw, or I guess Saw mask.
Ghostface,
or Saw
maybe?
mask. Saw mask. Yeah, that's what Saw Ghostface. Yeah.
I mean, it's really difficult to do that.
Did you see that new mask?
No. Are you talking about for Scream, the show? No.
It's got blowjob face.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it looks like that.
This is not Film Feed, Monica. We're moving on.
All right, moving on. No, I don't think he is iconic. I think if he was taken out of this context and thrown into something else, which I don't. Again, the story keeps him there, so he can't.
What can he do? Yeah, I mean, I mean, I agree, 100%.
Unless his daughter, unless they pull his daughter or something.
Spoiler alert!
Shh. We don't know that. We don't know. Unless somebody in his family comes back or something.
Somebody wants revenge. So, all right, we're gonna talk spoilers for the rest of the show here. We got two more topics. We have two more topics to cover. We have two more topics to cover. So the first is the Unlikely Alliance. All right. For those of you who have seen the film, you'll get what we're talking about. If you haven't, we're just saying once again, you're going to be. This is going to spoil everything. So, it's the very end of the film. You find out that our lovely Pfeiffer Brown is the daughter of Charlie's girlfriend. What the fuck?
Dun, dun, dun.
So here's the reason why this is definitely the biggest problem I have with the film, personally. You basically have this woman who was Charlie's old girlfriend, and Pfeiffer, who is not Charlie's daughter, I guess. I guess it's just the girlfriend is the mother, and they form an alliance. I mean, like, what is like? This is why I think it's not a very good ending, because they would have had to have like gone to the school, sat down with the ghost of Charlie, and been like, so here's what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Here's what we're gonna do. I mean,
I think it really goes upon the whole supernatural aspect of witchery.
I mean, why this is so it's two-parter. Why is Charlie even mad? I mean, I have no clue. Because
maybe he wanted to play the dang executioner role so bad.
So in the film, like, they explain that he was only the understudy for the guy who was supposed to be hung in the play. He was then promoted because our main character's father bounced. He called out. It's never said that, like, an evil prank was played, which is kind of how the trailer made it out.
Yep, that's right? Exactly how the trailer made it out.
The trailer made it out like it was an evil prank that got played that turned sour. But that's not what happened. Not in this cut of the film, at least. Maybe in an extended cut with some alternate scenes or something. Maybe. But in this cut, it was just a freak accident. And so Charlie is now hunting these four people, very specifically, not the other kids who have done the play year after year. Because it's been done several times, if I remember correctly. They've done the play several times. And even if they didn't do the play several times, why now does Charlie choose to freak out? And I guess you could argue, well, it's because Pfeiffer is in the play now. And so, I mean, then that leads me into this rabbit hole of just a spiral going. So was the mother just raising Pfeiffer the entire time so that she could be in this play, so that she could get Homeboy in it? Like, I mean, that clearly she led him into being in the play. That's said, you know? She apologized, I'm sorry I got you into the play and all that stuff. So, are you telling me that, like, the girlfriend literally raised Pfeiffer to...
This one moment.
To get to this one moment and then kill 3 kids. That was what you accomplished. You killed 3 kids. And you killed the son of a guy who just got cold feet in doing the play. You know what I mean?
That poor harmless little dude. He didn't even want to be there in the first place.
You know, it's like, if the tables were turned and he had shown up to be in the play, and then he was the one who was hung, would he then go after Charlie's family? I mean...
The cycle continues.
So, I don't know.
Ooh,
what do you think?
That's how they'll continue if they do.
What?
The dude that just got killed, he will now become...
Oh, the Hank Charlie, basically?
They better not.
We'll discuss that in a second.
We'll see.
What do you think about that insanity, though? Am I missing something?
No, like I said, there just wasn't enough. Like, why? But why?
There was no evidence, really, like, that led us to believe that these kids should have been punished the way that they were. Other than, clearly, douchebag kid was a douchebag. And the douchebag kid's girlfriend was a douchebag. Yeah. But Reese, I mean, he was an okay guy. Like, he stood up for the people around him. He's like, I can't let these people down, blah, 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 blah. Which is, again, why his motivations, as I said in my in the after segment, where he decides to go destroy the stage, seems so weird to me.
Yeah.
So, and again, like, think about the insanity behind the girlfriend and Pfeiffer have planned this, basically. And they set out this plan with Charlie. Like, this is how it's going to happen. Okay, so Charlie, Charlie, come here. Charlie, put the noose down. Put the noose down. Come here, we need to talk.
I loved you! You can't do this to me! Cause I'll tell you!
All that said, I can say I was not expecting it.
I called it. I was like, but Charlie's my dad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, did you hear me?
I guess not.
It was some scene, and it may she said something or did something. I'm like, but Charlie's my dad.
Oh.
And turns out that, and then when it got to the end, I'm like, Mom's out in the audience.
Now, that said, the very moment that woman came on screen at the very beginning of the film, I said, well, that's Charlie's girlfriend.
Y'all mean she been sitting back in that one spot the entire time and no parent went to talk to her? Nobody delved in a little bit more?
Literally.
Nobody recognized her at all?
Literally, the student just goes, this same lady sits in the same seat every day.
Because from the way they were talking, all those women, the group of women, they knew what was going on. So did they not recognize her?
Yeah, I know. Very weird. I don't know. Hashtag supernatural. Okay, so the last question is, and again, it's just since this movie was compared to Jason and Freddy and that, like, do we see future films for this movie?
Like I said, the only way they'll do that is if they continue the cycle with the boy.
I mean, it's like everything has to take place in the school. The character pretty much ends right there. Like,
he's contained there.
I don't think you can do, Gallows 2, taking it to the streets. I mean, you can't really do anything with it because
how they're gonna, like,
his spirit lives and dies in that school. So I think that this was a good standalone, as in one time, found footage film. They had a great location. It was a spooky location, and I think that if the directors are smart, which clearly they are to make a movie like this, like for as cheap as they did, and get it, you know, signed and picked up and all that stuff. I would let this one live. You know, this is it. Like, you got your one film. Now you two should go off, in my opinion, and make some more stuff. Maybe do another found footage film if that's what you choose. But you know, like, do something different. I think this. I don't see any possibility of opening this up to a sequel or anything, or a prequel. God, a prequel would just be damaging to your current product. So
yeah, I don't think there's a necessary need for any other films. I feel like we saw what we were gonna see. If they were to do one just to try to make him more iconic, I think that would be silly, because you had your chance to show what he could do. We saw it. You know what? There's no other way to really further this. He's contained. It's not going nowhere. I agree. That's that, man. That's all the stuff that we could talk about on this. Like I said in our before and after segment, if I had to give it a rating based against other found footage films, I'd probably give it like a 7. You know, again, it's a found footage film. It's a scary film, so you can't really rate it against some of these other, like, big, you know, drama, you know, even some of the blockbusters. But I enjoyed it. If you like found footage movies, go see it. It's, I mean, totally worth the watch. And it does give you the willies a couple of times. It does. It does. I mean, we didn't do a whole topic on jump scares, even though we probably could. But as we said, you know, like, they were effective sometimes and they weren't effective other times. Or I should say, they were more effective at times than others. Other times they were definitely effective because I could hear the people in the audience. They just weren't effective for me every time. So, or you. I mean, I saw you didn't really. I saw you jump a few times, and that was it. On the inside. On the inside. So yeah, that's that. Anything else to add? Nah. Boom. We're done with this one. Another one in the bag, guys. What'd you think of this video? Make sure to let us know in the comment section below. And guys, hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, Movie Pilot, SoundCloud. Because if you don't, you're just hating. Don't hate, appreciate. Alright? We're going to high five this one out. It's been a great episode. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. See you later. Let's do it. Let's do it. Boom.